Hi, my name is Stephen Lodziak and I play Father John in the movie Seeds. John was a really interesting character for me to develop and to get into. Father Melchior, who I follow and try to help throughout this film, is somebody who fundamentally believes in his path and his mission to die for God, to become a martyr. Father John is maybe a bit more like you and me, somebody who, once he's actually faced with that possibility, feels much more uncertain about if that's what he wants to do. And I spend a lot of the movie as the character John explaining to Melchior, or trying to plead with Melchior for him to maybe think differently about what he wants to do, and therefore meaning that I don't have to follow him on his path.
The price of the 700 will be paid for with 1,000 more. Another 1,000 we can save. You must bend, Father. It is a meaningless gesture. You will save our lives and theirs.
And it's an interesting character because I guess John is more of an everyman, and as we see in everyday situations around the world, as we see in Sri Lanka right now, many of us are having to question how far we want to go, if we are to follow someone else or follow a dream or a desire to its endpoint. So I found that a very interesting thing to explore, and I hope when you watch the movie you'll see that it isn't just blind adherence to Father Melchior that takes John on his path. There's a lot of questioning that goes on there too, and I hope people can relate to that when they see the film. So I was approached to play this role by a member of the production team, and I went to meet everybody for a screen test. That's where I first met Sanjaya Nirmal, the director, and he talked me into the part, and this part was a kind of crutch for Father Melchior. And so from that point I knew that I was going to be in good hands, because the director and the team around actually had a very good understanding of what John was supposed to do. I was really impressed with the whole experience. I was working with a team which was multi-ethnic. We had Sinhala members of the team, we had Tamil members of the team, and there was just a really good factor of we're going to work together to do a very ambitious project with the facilities that we had. You'll see in the film that the makeup is amazing. It looks very realistic. If you've seen the trailer, I know I can't show my kids. They think it's too much. We had, in terms of a DOP, a director of photography, I think a very talented individual who will do very well in the future, I'm sure. And as you will see, it's an unusually top-rate production. I think everybody involved went an extra mile to make it look special, to make it look like something Sri Lankan cinema probably has never seen before, and that's really exciting and a credit to everybody. So in terms of the actual realities of filming this, the film is quite gritty, and the experience itself of being in it was reasonably tough. We went to Mannar, which is a beautiful place, but we were in locations which were in the middle of nowhere. As a crew, we had to take a tractor ride to this location, which looked fantastic, but really was in the middle of nowhere. And I remember, for me personally, issues in terms of toilets and things like that, of which there were none. And the rides to and from, I know, were problematic for some people. There was one late night, fortunately I wasn't there, but it's a very famous incident where they finished filming late and the tractor got stuck in the middle of a field, and then I think people had to walk through the mud to get back to the van to go. So those locations were tough. When we were filming in Colombo, Trey, who plays Father Melchior, and I were in a beautifully constructed cage, but the cage which we were in for hours on end for filming didn't have anything comfortable to sit on. So Trey and I used to fight with this bit of cardboard, who would have the cardboard that they could sit on and be more comfortable during the filming. And I think I won that battle because Trey had to do more acting than I did, so I could just sit down on it more often. But there was a toughness to the environment as well. I think Sanjaya really wanted that to come through, and I think when you watch the film you'll see that the realities of where we were filming really adds to the sense of reality in the film.
We should leave, Father. We should leave this country.
You might get the impression that this is a film about the success or the importance of Catholicism and Christianity in the country, and of course that is an element of the story. But there is something deeper going on here, and it's not all about how the missionary cause was the right path. It's a lot about how when the Portuguese came at that time, they were really disrupting well set up and well established kingdoms, other religions, and how they suffered. And I think a lot of this story is how, if you are in a place and an alien force comes to you, how do you deal with that? Now, you can argue that King Sankili really went too far in what he did, but there is a price to pay when you disrupt the status quo. And I think the film tries to deal with that. And it's certainly not about one religion being better than the others. There's a much more intelligent conversation to be had through watching the film.
Prana.